Does this store make any money?
No, we've lost well over $10 million in the 15 years we've been here. And we're at a crisis point. And if the government doesn't act soon, we'll lose our downtowns just like what we've seen in the US.
It's just something else every single day here. Welcome back to Muslim Loose. My name's David. Today's top story here. We got Stephen Guilbeault canceling an $11 billion oil refinery, something that Canada needs drastically right now to get our oil to market without needing the Americans. Somehow he thought that was a good idea. We got record-breaking asylum seeker numbers. Asylum claimant levels are almost as high as immigration numbers back in the Harper days. We got a bunch of other stuff here, including another Liberal stepping down. Let's jump into this. Quite the day yesterday with Pierre Poilievre's rally. Now check out this. This is footage I didn't see. Pierre filled the room and there was so many people that a whole bunch of people had to watch the rally from outside.
So just as the last one I looked, what was
Full house. Canada first. While Claire on CTV claiming the crowd was small, not even enough to fill the room. There's a full rally outside the room. Next up in this bombshell news, check out this one from Table Salt. It says La Presse reporting that refugee claims in Canada have smashed all records at 172,255. You can see right here, 2024. This is insane. This is almost getting to Harper level immigration numbers for refugees. We are getting fleeced. We are getting taken advantage of by these phony baloney refugees. I mean, we know full well, I've shown on the channel here, it's well documented that Indian students, once they figure it out, they teach each other, and there's groups that actually teach people how to take advantage of our system, claim refugee status and not have to go back to India. Then they get paid $82,000 a year in free payments, hotels, all this freeloading crap off of the taxpayers here. Ontario, you have done bad. Well, look at that graph. Canadians pay them a stipend for coming. This is all because of Mark Miller. Mark Miller's policies are what's allowing this. All refugees from safe countries like the US and anyone who arrived on a visa can immediately go home. Any refugee that vacations in their home country can immediately go home. Students can go home when they applied for studies they completed or if they don't attend class. Exactly. This is what we're having. Students who don't make the classes or students who don't even show up for class and then they just go and claim refugee status. If it costs them even $5, $10, whatever, $20,000 to register for a university, they don't show up for class and then they get $82,000 over the course of a year from the government. That's an easy choice for them. It's just ridiculous that we're paying for this stuff. Next one here from Table Salt also showing 359,885 Canadians were born in 2024. And here's that same number, 172,255 refugee claimants last year in 2024. Demographics are destiny. Canada's headed for failure. Pierre Poilievre will turn this around with common sense policies. He's our best hope. Poilievre came out in a recent interview saying that he'll have a mathematical formula that more houses have to get built than people coming in, and only asylum claimants can come from countries that are dangerous, and he'll have the last in first out policy, so the last people to come in will be the first people deported back to their countries if they're taking advantage of our system. So Indian students get deported immediately, and then they'll start telling all the other Indian students, oh, this trick isn't working anymore, and they'll stop. That's what we need to do. But Mark Miller doesn't seem to care. He's all for it. Otherwise, he would have done something about this. Got this one here from Blacklock's reporter. It says housing target going gone. New CMHC data yesterday confirmed cabinet will not achieve its target on housing affordability. Housing starts nationwide are hundreds of thousands short of the minimum levels required, with the federal insurer predicting 2025 construction will slow down. No kidding. Of course they're down. This housing accelerator bullcrap, Sean Fraser, Justin Trudeau, all that is nonsense. It was never going to work, and they know it. You can't keep bringing in more people than you build houses. You have to cut immigration to zero for the next 10 years just to catch up. Got this one here from Marty up north saying America can't easily replace Alberta's heavy oil. It's used to make diesel. They don't produce significant amounts of heavy oil, and drill baby drill won't change that. They can import it from Venezuela, but then they'd have to reverse the flow direction of pipeline, and that's not easy to do. See here, refineries in the United States which use Alberta oil, all these yellow ones, employs 25,000 Americans. US uses 19 million barrels per day of oil, but only produces 13 million barrels per day. Alberta exports approximately $100 billion of energy to the US, where the Americans refine it into 300 billion. I've shown this on the channel before. They're getting $200 billion of money directly from us. So really, we are subsidizing America. They're getting rich because of us. Trump is trying to flip this around and use this as a bargaining thing, but really it should be the other way around. Now, regarding the street fennel and the street candy and that whole situation, by all means, the Americans can grill Justin Trudeau, the Liberals, on that, because that is a real problem in Canada. And that's not Canadians' fault. That's the Trudeau Liberals' fault. But the straight numbers of it, we're subsidizing them. They're getting rich off of us, and they should be grateful for that. Next up, we got this one here from Shreya Teese. It says, growing number, in quotes, less than 15% of Canadians want to join the US. So the blue ones here are yes, I would. The red is I would not. Gray here is I don't know. Now, we shouldn't be surprised the highest ones are from Alberta and Saskatchewan, Manitoba. These numbers drastically go up, though, if you reduce the age down to just like 18 to 30. Then those numbers jump up to about 40, 50, 60%, somewhere around there. Got this one, Jennifer O'Connell. She's jumping ship. That's right. She's done as a Liberal. She's not seeking re-election. Just another Liberal to jump ship here. So she came out with a statement, but she's not important, so we're not going to read it. All we need to see is, I will not be seeking re-election for Member of Parliament in the next federal election. See you later. Got this one here. This guy's saying, are you dumb? So Chrystia Freeland here on the Freeland HQ page. This is the official page of Chrystia Freeland's Liberal leadership campaign, coming out with this video comparing Pierre Poilievre's rally to Donald Trump because they both used big flags. Okay, so we can't have that audio in there, but I mean, this is ridiculous. It's like, oh, because there's a big flag, he must be associated. Like, how dumb can you get? This is scraping the bottom of the barrel here, Freeland. Got this one from conservative Ryan Williams saying $670 billion and counting. That's what Trudeau and now team Mark Carney have canceled in energy projects in 10 years. And that's not counting the yearly paychecks and governmental revenue that comes from these projects. So I mentioned this on the channel a day or so ago. Take a look at the article here. Guilbeault pulls the pin on $11 billion Kitimat Refinery project backed by Stockwell Day. First proposed in 2016, Pacific Future Energy envisioned the 150,000 barrel per day refinery near Kitimat as a way to export refined petroleum products like gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel to Asia. Call it the final nail in the coffin of the Northern Gateway pipeline. Even as Canada faces crippling U.S. energy tariffs, that's because Environmental Minister Stephen Guilbeault on Tuesday quietly terminated the environmental assessment of the proposed $11 billion oil refinery in British Columbia aimed at processing 200,000 barrels per day of Alberta oil flowing off the ill-fated Northern Gateway pipeline. You can see the map of it here coming from just north of Edmonton over to Kitimat, and then that opens up right to the sea. Cancellation of the Kitimat refinery is a significant but inevitable setback for those who hope to see new avenues for Alberta's landlocked oil reach international markets. The project had garnered support from high-profile figures, including former Alberta cabinet minister and federal opposition leader Stockwell Day, who served on Pacific Future's board of directors. Refinery cancellation adds a series of setbacks for oil export projects on Canada's west coast. The Northern Gateway pipeline, originally proposed by Enbridge to transport Alberta's oil to the Pacific, was rejected by Trudeau's government in 2016 after years of controversy and opposition from Indigenous environmental groups. Just another project cancelled by Guilbeault. But don't worry, Mark Carney's Brookfield Asset Management, they're building pipelines in the UAE and Brazil. Don't worry, he made big money over there. Just pipelines, though, they're not for Canada. Prosperity, that's not what he wants around here. Because Guilbeault is backing Carney, and Carney's going to work out a new carbon plan that fits within Guilbeault's radical mind. On this episode of Far Off Ripoff, got this one here, $15 million going to Bangladesh. And what are they doing with our money there? This project aims to provide institutional support to the International Center for Diarrheal Disease Research. That's right, diarrhea research in Bangladesh. Now you might be thinking, it can't get worse than this, can it? Well, it can, because that's $15 million. This one here, going to the same place, $16.5 million for more diarrhea research. That's right, Canadian tax dollars are going to a crappy situation. And we got this one, $21.4 million also to the same research facility here in Bangladesh for diarrhea research. That's over $51 million. Take a look at the expected results, the outcomes here, expected outcomes. This includes health risks related to climate change. That's right. Apparently, diarrhea and health risks related to climate change are a thing, and that's where our money needs to be spent. We also got this one here, going to prevent forest fires in Brazil's Amazon and savanna throughout community-based fire management initiatives. Canada doesn't already have enough water bombers, despite them being built in Alberta but get sold to other countries. They're going to spend our money, $50,000, to prevent forest fires in Brazil, when clearly we need to be spending this money at home. Check out this accident on the QE2 towards Calgary.
I'm trying to know what,
And we can't have that music, but check out this this truck up here. Wow. Just wow. Hope the driver's okay. That is not good. Check out this. We got street candy alert in Kamloops. Tablets sold as, I can't read any of these words, but basically there's counterfeit fake tablets being sold, and they have to they have to send out an alert for this. Like, this should all be illegal. This is ridiculous. And from now on, I have to cover up the actual pills. I found out that you can't show those even if they look like an Advil. Things are so bad that London Drugs is shutting down because of the crime and chaos, and they've been taking a loss for years.
We want to stay here, but there's limits to what we can endure.
London Drugs says it bought into the city of Vancouver and province's vision when it became the anchor tenant for the Woodwards redevelopment in 2009. Optimistic, the mix of condos and social housing would transform the downtown east side.
Well, there was hope for the first couple of years. It's been a real struggle.
This smashed glass, a recent reminder of the violence store staff face. The suspect, who has 25 aliases and a BC court history dating back to 1999, released after being charged with mischief, uttering threats, and assault with a weapon.
Like, this kind of guy needs to go to jail for 35 years and just stop burdening society. Like, let's get real here. So this is the London Drugs, as I said, Woodwards building. It's inside. What you have to do is go into the building complex, and then there's I believe a Nestor's and then the London Drugs. They did this to try to clean up that area. I actually lived close to that area for many years. It's terrible. It's right near where all the street candy is and all the tents and the crazies and everyone. Basically, the worst street in Canada is near that area there.
The gentleman was trying to attack our staff with a pipe.
The region is not safe. I feel the employees here are very brave.
Even with security, the Canadian retailer's president says the physical and verbal violence against his employees has been intolerable for years. Coupled with street disorder, customers are also not feeling safe. Does this store make any money?
No, we've lost well over $10 million in the 15 years we've been here. Very few retailers are prepared to make that type of investment into the community.
When a big tenant like London Drugs has had it with the neighborhood, it sends a message that it's difficult to do business here.
So it's just this store, I should clarify. It's not all London Drugs.
And businesses are sick of it.
Fed up with crime, JJ Bean closed its doors here in 2023. TD Bank, also hit hard, left last year.
We need London Drugs, we need Nestor's.
David Day remembers when the Woodwards building was demolished in 2006. He says the new space continues to resonate with the neighborhood.
If London Drugs left here, it would make a big hole in the community that I don't know who could fill.
There's no repercussions against repeat violent and chronic offenders, and something needs to change.
Clint Malman says the same scenario is repeating itself in downtown cores across the province.
And we're at a crisis point, and if the government doesn't act soon, we'll lose our downtowns just like what we've seen in the U.S.
Kristen Ross.
The government is not acting soon because this is exactly what Justin Trudeau and the Liberals want. That's why they changed the laws to be like this. They wouldn't have made the laws like this if they didn't want this madness. Criminals walk free. You get punished for being a good citizen, but you get catch and release for being a criminal. No business needs to lose their business due to bad judgment from governments and the derelict people stealing with no consequences. I mean, the guy throwing the rocks or whatever at TD Bank, enough is enough. Get these people working in jails. If there was consequences where people were frightened because they would have to go to jail and have to work hard manual labor jobs for 10, 15, 20 years for doing stupid stuff, they would never do them. Next up, we got this one from the Conservative Party of BC. They're pointing out here, so David Eby flip-flop on his promise. So for anyone not aware, he promised everyone $1,000 if he got reelected, and now he's just pulled it away. He's lied to the taxpayers out here and said, no, actually, because of Donald Trump, the big scary orange man in America, we're pulling away that $1,000 grocery rebate we were going to give everyone. Are we surprised? This guy's a liar and a loser. And not only that, he's enabling the street fennel to be created in this province and doing nothing about it. Like, he's an absolute disgrace. What's also disgraceful is what's going on here in the Canadian Armed Forces. So this guy's asking here, why is nobody joining the Canadian Armed Forces? He compares two different jobs here. Federal government, CR04, office clerk, salary starting at $53,000 per year, 40 hours a week, close to home, no travel or postings, regular pay, union benefits. Canadian Armed Forces, salary starting $43,000 a year, $10,000 less, nowhere near home, must live in the barracks, must be available available 24/7, no overtime pay, zero protection from abuse or dangerous work environment, virtually no rights or representation, must serve anywhere in Canada, lucky to get annual pay raises, 4-year wait list for promotion and pay increase, subject to constant training, testing, and performance reviews. Yeah, there's a reason why our military is suffering. Not only that, you add in all the woke DEI policies. It's like, why would anyone want to be in the Canadian military? There we have it. Radical climate zealot Stephen Guilbeault trying his best to not help Canada on his way out. He's going to clutch onto Carney as hard as he can, but that's not going to save him. Luckily, Pierre's already spoken on the refugee system. First in, first out. He's going to clean up that mess and stop having people take advantage of the Canadian system, take advantage of our Canadian tax dollars, and clean up this immigration and refugee system once and for all.